Thanks very much to the family for allowing me to come and talk today about Lachlan's website. It's, this thing working? Yeah, good. It's interesting to note that Lachlan was such a fast uptaker of technology. He was on and using the internet very quickly after it first existed. His involvement with email as a means of personal communication was very strong. His involvement with websites and web pages as a means of obtaining and distributing information was also very strong and very early. I didn't know Lachlan particularly well, except as his involvement with his website and a couple of other friends who were involved with the Blue Haze systems that he had his website on. Interestingly, Lachlan had problems with previous hosting of his website. Twofold. First of all, because of the content that was on it, and secondly, because of the volume of information that was on the website. Most hosting services, commercial hosting services, wouldn't allow the volume that Lachlan ended up having on his website. So, back in the 90s, he got involved with a gentleman called Tony Sanderson, whom he worked with at Minerals at Clayton, and Tony and he put together a server that they could serve their own website from without permission from anybody else and without any controls or any concerns about privacy of control and management. That's Lachlan to a T. Unfortunately, Tony passed some years ago, but I have maintained the website and the servers, and Lachlan's personal website has been on those systems ever since and continues to be there. I think it's interesting to look at Lachlan's website as a window into him as a person. Any of you who haven't been there and had a look at his website, I would urge you to do so. He has used it as a diary, as a forum, as a record, as a means of distributing information. It really is a most remarkable piece of work from the most remarkable person. Let me just give you some numbers. Lachlan loved numbers. Here are some numbers. Alexa.com, which is probably one of the leading site ranking organisations in the world, ranks Lachlan's personal website as 1,421,672 in the world. Now that seems like a fairly large number, until you realise that there are now probably around about 300 million websites in the world, which put Lachlan's personal website in the top 1/2 of 1% of websites in the world. Again, not a bad effort, but then realise that 85% of those 300 million websites are commercial. So Lachlan's website is right at the top of the pile of personal websites on the internet. And when you have a look at what's on the website and what comprises it, it's no surprise. If you do a Google search on Lachlan Cranswick Personal, which is effectively what he called his website, you get 6,330 hits. Quite a lot. My website gets 342. Typically, a personal website, typically in the world, will have 5 to 10 pages of information about the person and or the family, and is maintained ad hoc. Lachlan's personal website had 1,445 pages. So that's an extraordinary number of pages for a personal website. Let's talk about the number of hits, if you like, accesses that the website has had. The visits in 2009 to Lachlan's website were 5,353,522, and I'm not rounding these numbers because he would hate me to do so. That works out at 14,667 a day. They come from 251,000 unique locations. So they're not the same place, hitting it rapidly over and over again. These places are in 180 countries around the world. Not a handful, 180. This is 75% of the possible countries for a website request to come from. Interestingly, the ranking of those are, first of all, the US, as you would expect, but then second ranking of countries accessing the site is Russia. Now, the analysis that I did told me that most of the interest there was in his software and the work that he was doing. Thirdly is Australia, Canada, the UK, and then Japan, which is not a country which looks at websites with European people very often. Interestingly, the record of the number of accesses to Lachlan's website over the 20 years, essentially, that it's been in existence, was in March 2010. That's some 2 months after he went missing, which gives you an indication of the increased interest in Lachlan. The website contains a broad aspect, a broad range of philosophy, of interests, of books that he likes, of tunes that are hard to get a hold of strange websites in other parts of the world, like minerals with unusual names. There is a vast wealth of information. Lachlan maintained his website obsessively, you might say. At least once a week, my records show me he would access the website with a change to a page, or a new page, or something of this nature. So it was an ongoing piece of work that he did all the time. Sadly, the last update was on the 21st of December 2009, and we now know why. For those of you who are interested in following Lachlan's life on the web, he's recently, before his disappearance, put some videos on YouTube. Quite interesting videos. If you go to YouTube and look for Lachlan Cranswick, you will find those things that he's put there. Again, I recommend that you go and have a look at his website to have a complete picture of Lachlan's interests and the things that he did in a broader sense for the rest of us on the internet. Thanks very much.